We know that homeless camps aren't necessarily something that are new to our community. However, we have seen things a little bit different this year. We had that late rainfall that really increased the river levels, so camps are a little bit more visible, and we know we have more people experiencing homelessness kind of overall. Brenda, do you want to speak at all to maybe what some of the other communities we've seen, the ordinances that they've tried to pass, and just how this ordinance is just so much different from what we've seen in some of those other communities that are similar to ours?
So Brainer's been looking at no camping ordinance, and then Duluth has adopted their no camping ordinance now. And so just kind of looking at within their ordinance, they they listed where they would start enforcement, knowing that they can't enforce all areas at all times. And so what we tried to do is really take a holistic look at it. We're working so hard, looking at housing first and how it works and educating the community on housing first. And so just kind of how do we incorporate that into a no camping ordinance? Also making sure that we're investing in our services. So we're investing in providing services and connecting our unhoused to services and making sure that those that are camping and that they have the ability to connect with those services. Looking at the other ordinances, they don't have a resolution, nor do they have guidelines that they're working with their unhoused population of what those can look like to make sure everyone's safe. It's just a removal, which what we've seen is if you remove them in one place, they probably will go somewhere else. And so that's not stopping the camping, it's just moving it around.
And one thing that I don't think everybody knows about the Downtown Engagement Center is that was actually a recommendation that came out of the 2018 Downtown in Focus Plan. So there was widespread recognition kind of throughout the community that our unhoused neighbors needed a place to be during the day and access to resources. And so when we had the opportunity to create the Downtown Engagement Center, we were ultimately fulfilling a need that we had talked about back in 2018. And so can Jan and Carissa, can you help connect again kind of this strategy around the management of homeless camps with the ultimate mission of the Downtown Engagement Center?
Ultimately, the goal is to connect people to services that we know and trust. We have a number of agencies that are right inside the engagement center and based out of there, but we also have a ton of partners that are community-based that come in and assist. And it's working. We've seen many, many people get housed. Some of those folks have stayed in housing for quite some time. Others maybe lost housing and then learned enough about what went wrong to try it again and get housed. We just keep trying again and again and again. And that's what works. The folks that hang out downtown who might be unhoused, they're hanging out because they don't have anywhere else to be, and they have a sense of community as well. And as we get people housed, we have to really be thoughtful about their connections to community and really addressing that loneliness and isolation piece.
So, Chris, I want to jump back to a little bit about the resolution and those expectations for homeless camps. So one of the things that is outlined in those expectations is kind of a geographic area where camping will temporarily be authorized while we do not have those available shelter or housing resources in the community. And from my understanding, and based on the outreach that you've done, that area was chosen because that's kind of where people already are. Can you talk a little bit more about, how your team goes out and does outreach with those camps and just kind of what you have been seeing in that kind of river corridor?
That is one of the highest areas that people have already been with, even with the engagement center. That's of all the years I have been doing outreach, that's where we have seen a lot of folks. I think that's where they feel the most safest in that area. It's not as close to the river because it's with the flooding. But one of the biggest things is the relationship piece is huge. So when we are going down there and doing that outreach with the folks that are sleeping outside, hey, how's it going? Introduce ourselves, let them know what we do. Have they ever been to the engagement center? Have they ever been to a shelter in the local area? If they're new to town, that kind of changes the conversation. Like, hi, we'll be back tomorrow. If you don't want to talk to us today, that's completely fine. But, we'll be back here tomorrow. And then the next day we come back and that conversation may look a little bit different.
Well, I just want to thank all of you for being here today and helping us educate the community about, what is going on with homelessness and homeless camps. And I also want to encourage the public. We do have a public comment opportunity available. There's still a couple of weeks before the City Commission will vote on the ordinance and the resolution. And we want to hear from you. We want to hear your feedback on the ordinance, the resolution, those expectations, what you like, what you're concerned about, so that we can make sure that we're meeting the needs of the entire community. So that is an online comment forum, and we'll link that for you so that you can provide that. Thank you again.